De style holding. Vulcano et Annie Longer. Flip the switch.
Yves Müllert. It's Halbedone.
In the year 2028, one Big Mac will equal $1 million. From the Gospel of John McAfee. Bro, just learn to code. The Project Freedom Podcast.
Boom. I'm Josh, Freelive Program, and welcome to the Project Freedom Podcast, episode number 23. Man, we're getting up there. Guys, we're getting up there, aren't we? Just what do you think blockchain really is? That's the theme for tonight, but honestly, we're going to cover a couple things. So on Monday night stream, I asked you guys to leave a comment in the comment section about what you guys want me to talk about. And I don't know if they're in the chat tonight. If they're not, they probably will be soon. But somebody said, Pablo specifically said, I think in the next episode, you should talk about how Boomercoin and crypto will affect infrastructure, aka Blade Runner 2049. So I haven't seen Blade Runner 2049. I don't know if you guys have either, but we're going to talk about that. And that's going to be kind of like a fun kind of topic to just, it's kind of fun role playing kind of stuff, right? But, some of the stuff is possible. But what we're really going to talk about, guys, is what do you think a blockchain really is? And that's a trick question. You guys know about the current infrastructure bill out there right now, right? I'm sure most of you guys heard about it, and there's some kind of like a little bit of some sussy things going on there, and we're gonna try to knock that out as well. But first, let me check in with the chat. Sam saying yes, sticker. Claybuster says neither of those look like a 1911. Nope. I don't know what kind of guns those were. Those were man. We said the G word, guys. Oh no. I think those are like I don't know. I really don't know, Clay. Cody Mouse says, boom. Sam says, boom again. Wade Emery says, it's a great day. Yes, it is a great day, man. It was a good day today. As usual, Oso Chain in the house with the orange pill emoji. Max Dignitas IRS has entered the chat sticker. Kyle, boom, baby. Get the likes up. Yes, please, friends, guys. Please, 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 please. I beg of you, please. Oh, my. Please smash the like. All right. So there's this there's yet another proposal out there from Big Daddy Gov to print another $4.5 trillion, which 10 years ago would have seemed like an insane amount of money, but nowadays that's just peanuts, right? That's just drops in a bucket, I suppose. And has anybody seen the stack of papers for that infrastructure bill and all the various different proposals of things that they want passed in there? I don't think anyone here has read all 2,300 pages of it. It's quite a bit. And I really don't think anyone in Congress has actually had the time to read all that. And we already know that they're already getting pushback on it, right? Which is how this process works. All right. Look, guys, anytime there's something important that needs to urgently be passed, it's the same old game that these cronies always play. All right. They have a sense of urgency, and they say, "Oh my gosh, like we got to get this done real quick, or else it's all over. It's going to zero. Our lives are going to zero." Right? And they use that sense of urgency in the same way that anybody can use a sense of urgency against you in order to manipulate you into making a decision too fast without having to think through it. Right? What else do? They shove a bunch of extra stuff in there that's completely irrelevant to the main goal at hand of which they are trying to establish. So, for example, let's just say, perfect example of this, and this isn't a real bill, all right, but let's just say that there exists an urge, and all the puppies on the street are dying, and we need to have some kind of governmental intervention, or else all the puppies are going to die. Right? Everybody loves puppies, right? Nobody wants puppies to die, and so they call this bill the Save Puppy Lives Act of 2021 or whatever. It sounds great, right? It sounds great because who would be against a bill with that kind of title? Who would be against a bill that is called Save the Puppies Act, right? Because who wants to? All of us don't want. None of us want puppies to die, right? But in actuality, about 90% of those paperwork ends up having nothing to do with saving puppies. And maybe they put things in there like we're going to destroy every single kind of plant of this nature inside of this bill. We're going to charge extra taxes for X, Y, and Z. We're going to do all this stuff that's completely irrelevant to saving puppies. And nobody really thinks about it because, when you hear it on the news, hey, it's the Save the Puppies bill. Okay. Basically the same exact situation is going on here. All right. Except replace the Save the Puppies bill with the infrastructure bill and replace the other things that I mentioned. So I talked about they want to basically make a bunch of plant species extinct, which they actually did put that in this bill, just completely irrelevant stuff. Like they want several $1 billion to just eradicate a bunch of different kind of plants, which, I don't think, me personally, if you were a country that had financial issues, the last thing that I would be doing is proposing to have billions of dollars allocated to destroy plants. But anyway, somebody out there has something against some plants. Maybe it's some kind of company. All right. Point being, guys, is these are basically special interests and lobbyists that just make these bills. All right. They put massive amounts of money to get this stuff paid because this is the clown show. And in reality, people aren't really the people, as in the citizens, us lowly normies, us normal folk. We're not really the ones that are pushing those laws, right? It's all just special interest groups and people that have a specific want for something to get done a certain way, and people that can afford massive amounts of lawyers to write all these papers up in a wording in a certain way to get things passed underneath the radar. But what else are they putting in there? After the whole Elizabeth Warren supercoders cryptocurrency nonsense, which my viewers, I know you guys know that's nonsense. They're trying to pass a bunch of laws trying to put a bunch of these laws into that bill that, quite frankly, are not only completely unconstitutional and unreasonable, and also unintelligent on their part, but that could be a personal opinion. You could say that it's constitutional, but just, I guess, it depends on how you view the Constitution. I digress. They're also doing things in there, trying to pass things in there, which, quite frankly, are impossible to do. Right? And I'm gonna try to explain that to you guys tonight. We're gonna go over all that and why some of these things they're putting in there are literally impossible to do. Which would mean this, all right? What that means is if the people that they're trying to force these regulations on, which is going to be pretty much everyone, are literally unable and incapable of doing what they want, then they're basically doing something illegal and it's banned. So what does that end up doing? So what happens if you have some kind of law and it's like, no, we didn't say you can't do that. We just said the only way that you can do it is in this impossible way. And if you can't do it in this specific impossible way, then you're breaking the law. What happens? People leave and they go somewhere that they can do it in at least a possible way, right? So we already know they're doing the same stuff that they always do, right? And yeah, I mean, if people don't see this kind of stuff happening by now, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I really don't know. If you're in the audience or you're watching the playback, and you haven't like seen this recurring theme happening over and over again for the last 10 years, and I was 18 10 years ago, so I don't really, I didn't really pay attention before that because I was just a measly child. All right, but I'm willing to bet that they were doing it for a long, lot longer than that. All right. So if you're older than that and you can't just see these repetitive patterns, then yeah, I really don't know what to tell you. When you hear something, don't automatically believe it just because you heard it from some sort of like authorized NEWS, NEDIA. Can't say it. Can't say the words because I gotta be fucking afraid. I don't have any problem saying fuck. I'm not gonna make any money out this video, so I can curse all I want. But what I'm worried about is having to say things that the algorithm will just punish me for. So the main STREAMMEDIA. I think you guys know what I mean, right? So they're trying to rush. They were trying to. It's already this part's already. It's already pushed down the road a little bit, right? They were trying to literally rush all this stuff inside of this bill, like overnight. And I know that those people that literally can't even do math up there in the Congress and in the White House, I know that those people that literally can't do basic addition and subtraction most certainly aren't reading 2,300 papers, 2,300 different pages of paper back to front of very, very, very complexly worded documents. All right. So it's not like the sentences in these documents are not like, hey, my name is Bob. I'm going to school. I live on a farm. I like to pet dogs. All right. It's a lot of it's gymnastics with words. And then, Andrew from Legal Mindset on his YouTube channel, he was talking about this. And I've been talking to him about this regularly off of the interwebs, right? And basically, and he'll tell you guys, this isn't like a conspiracy or anything. I probably shouldn't even say that word. CONSPIRACY, right? It's not a conspiracy that lawyers, when they're trying to pass laws, they write things worded a certain way to make them as broad as possible, all right? Which is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make things as rigidly defined as possible so that when people have to go to court over these things, the judge and the jury and the people there that are making the decisions can say, okay, is this a 2? 2 is an even number? Okay, we're good. Oh, no, this is a 1. 1's an odd number? All right. Never mind. We're not good. Oh, it's 1.35. Is that an even or an odd number? 1.25, is that even or odd number? Well, I don't know. Now we're in a fractional number. Do we treat fractional numbers the same way as we treat whole numbers? I think you guys get the point that I'm saying, right? And the problem with this bill is that the wording in it is so poor that it pretty much affects almost anyone and everyone that has any, like, even if they just like have ever just created a wallet and they have 5 cents of Bitcoin in their wallet. It affects everybody. All right. So, it's kind of to me, I believe, maybe I should put this on. Maybe I should put this on before I say this. Hold on, guys. Maybe I should put this on before I say this. Oh, no. Oh, no. We got to be extra careful. All right. Okay. All right, guys. I got it. Shh, 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 shh. They're never going to know. Shh. Shh. There. Now I feel safe. What I'm thinking is that two things and two situations going on here, and either one of them are just it's a problem. All right. Number one, situation number one, they don't understand this at all, and they're trying to put all this stuff in a box, and they don't understand it. All right. What happens when you take a bull, an angry bull, and lock it up in your bedroom? What do you think's gonna happen? And then two, the second thing that is a possibility is that they do understand this. All right, they understand it perfectly clear, and they're just essentially trying to destroy all the new innovation in this new area of tech, new area of finance, new area of just, I mean, everything. And instead of coming out front and just being like, "Hey, we want to get rid of this," like, you know, countries like China would have done, and just literally just kicking them out, they're gonna rug pull. They're gonna rug pull because they're a bunch of pansy boys, and they can't just come out and say, "Hey, we want things to be this way." You know, vote on it, right? They got to go through these little pansy, little manipulative little ways, like a little sixth grader. All right. And so, what is the exact thing? Some of the things they're trying to do in this bill. First and foremost, to put this in layman's terms, guys, they have this term called broker. All right, and you know, if you think about like the traditional financial realm with like equities and stuff, or with real estate, a broker is, you know, someone who is going to be able to like barter, sell, or trade something with you, right? For example, Robinhood. That's the app for, like, you know, literally buying stonks, big stonks. Robinhood is considered a broker, and thus, you know, when a broker is selling something to somebody, because you can't just go and buy a stonk yourself. You can't just, like, you know, just go to somebody and be like, "Hey, sell me your stonks." It's got to go through a broker, because we have regulations around this stuff, right? And Robinhood essentially requires you to do or Robinhood is required to enact KYC AML on their customers. And what that means, KYC stands for Know Your Customer, AML stands for Anti-Money Laundering, right? And all that really is just fancy jargon for they want people to get the information of the people who are buying and selling, all right? Now, the difference here and the beauty of the blockchain, if you know what the blockchain really is, let's talk about, I'll just use like the same example that I always do, Bitcoin, all right? The old boomer coin. So how does Bitcoin work? Is Bitcoin like a sheet of paper that gives you equity in some kind of like company? No, it is not. Bitcoin is a digital asset, and it's basically like, well, first of all, it exists in bits, right? But I mean, that part is irrelevant. So do many other things on our computers, floating around with electrical little pulses everywhere. But you can think of the Bitcoin as kind of like property in cyberspace. All right, that's the Michael Saylor analogy. I really don't like that one though. But what is a Bitcoin when you own one? You're really just, first of all, you don't really own the actual Bitcoin itself, right? What you have access to is the private keys, right? The private keys that allow us in the real world to claim ownership and proof of ownership over, let's just call this a thing in the digital realm, all right? So when you have your ledger, you know, your hardware wallet, and you send Bitcoin to it, you're not really actually sending Bitcoin, like physical Bitcoin, to that hard drive. That Bitcoin exists on the network, right? It continually exists on the network. What you're putting on that hard drive is your private key. Okay, so it's not like equity in a company that someone could just, you know, sell you a bunch of papers and you lose the papers and you don't really have any proof that you have it, other than the fact that, well, I mean, we have brokers and stuff, so you can go through the brokers and they can have their own little centralized system. But the beauty of the Bitcoin, the blockchain, is it's decentralized, right? Most of you guys already know that. I don't have to explain that part. I don't think I do. If you guys are watching this on the replay and you don't understand it, go look at an older episode, or go look at watch the Fed CBDC versus Bitcoin video or something like that. That'll help you understand. The problem here is basically, guys, these things don't work the same way. All right, they don't work the same way as an equity, all right, because they're not. Quite frankly, they're not. And by law, they're already considered by law as equal as a property, and not an equity, not a security. I was saying equities, but I should have been saying securities. It's not a security, doesn't act like a security, and it's completely different than a security. But it has properties like a security, like, hey, I can buy this and put my money in it and park my money in it as an asset. And yeah. But where do you store your Bitcoin? Well, you have an address, right? And again, to repeat, when you're storing Bitcoin, you're not really storing the physical Bitcoin, all right? All that stuff is existing on the network. You're storing the private keys, which give you proof of ownership for that Bitcoin, all right? The same way that a key, you can think of it kind of like a deed for deed for your house, all right? It's an electronic deed for your house. So even if, I don't know, you went missing in South America somewhere, and then everyone thought you were dead for 20 years, but you come back and some squatters actually live in your house now, but you have the deed to your house. You can go to your local courthouse and be like, yo, get these people out of my house. I'm the owner I'm the owner of this house. All right. And so again, back to the question. Sorry, guys. How do you store your Bitcoin? You store it on a wallet somewhere, right? Whether it's like a cold storage, a hardware wallet, a hot wallet, connect to the internet, some kind of piece of software. All right. And you have an address, and you send and receive Bitcoin from this address. Okay. What they want to do is they want to push these KYC AML laws onto, basically in the wording, literally anything that is running or connecting to the Bitcoin network. And I'm just saying Bitcoin here, guys. So this goes to literally like all of them. All right. So for example, anything that has data coming in and out of it. That's how vague this is. Anything that has data coming in and out of it and interacts with this network. All right. So a wallet. Let's talk about Bread Wallet, BRD. Bread Wallet is, for all intents and purposes, linked up to the Bitcoin network. It's essentially, they have their own node, and their node basically, has data for the network flowing through it. They want to do KYC AML on these wallets, and they also want, basically, guys, what they really want, to put this in the most simplest terms possible, instead of me just sitting here and dragging this out, literally anything in the United States that has data from the Bitcoin network coming into it, they want them to capture all that data, literally all of it, and report it in an Excel file or whatever. I don't know. That part's unclear to me, but they want them to report it, which would be literally impossible to do. All right. If you just make a paper wallet, all right, and you get to the point where you just have a seed phrase as your quote unquote paper wallet. Maybe you're literally doing the most traditional paper wallet as possible. All right. Like you're running a light node on Bitcoin or a full node or whatever. Right. So you have software in your computer that connects to this stuff, and you're interacting with the network through that node. And then you enter in your seed phrase, and then boom, it'll show you, your balance of Bitcoin in there. All right. Can you capture and harvest all that data coming through the Bitcoin network, every single transaction? And if you guys don't know how blockchains work in specific, each block that's mined has a bunch of these computers all through that are all sharing the software circulating around it, pull their energy together, and they validate these transactions via math. All right. And every block, there's not just like one transaction being validated in there. All right. There's not just one math equation. There is a boatload. And so every block that's mined, there's a boatload of data in that. And that data could come from a node that came from another node that came from another node. It could have been circulating all around the world. And so you just literally can't do that. And also, if you don't have access to the source code of whatever you're working with, and you also don't know how to code at all, Even if you did know the code, it would be hard to implement and harvest all that data. Where are you gonna store that data? Who knows, right? You're gonna have to go buy a bunch of servers. It's basically, guys, it gets worse than that too. I'm trying not to confuse you guys here, but just know that what they're asking for is essentially like impossible. All right, it's essentially impossible, and this is miners too. They're trying to put this on miners because of course miners are validating the network. Right, they act as a node. Basically, they are a node, and they're basically forcing everybody to spy on everybody. All right, which is really fucking weird. Like they want to force everybody to spy on everybody throughout the whole world. I don't see what the problem is because they already have like Pegasus and Prism and Pinwhale and all these other programs. So if they want to spy on people, they can literally just spy on you whenever you want. So I don't see what the problem is with that. And that's what brings me to my original, the theory, the first and the second theory is that they either know, they either don't understand this stuff, which would be a very bad thing if they don't, or they understand this stuff and they're doing this on purpose. And they're just doing this as a means to kind of like get rid of it. We're going to talk about why they're going to get rid of that in a second, but let me get caught up with the chat. Viren says, "What's up, gents?" I'm pretty sure I keep pronouncing your name wrong, man. Virenes4. Am I saying it right? Claybuster says, "Left guy had a Glock, right guy had a Beretta 92 variant." That's pretty sweet, homie. I'm not sure. I don't do guns around here. Like guns are just bad, and guns are just like they're terrible for you, and they're dangerous. I would never own a gun. Those are just very bad. So I don't really know anything about them, but I mean they look pretty scary. So I just decided to use them as a thumbnail. But thank you for letting me know. Just print more money. Yeah, exactly. Antonio says, "Hello, friends." Antonio, I didn't realize in the last video you said that this is now your safe space. So welcome, Antonio, to your safe space. 11 watching and 5 likes. Fix the ratio. God bless it, guys. Please fix the ratio. Jaron George says, "Hey, Josh, do you think being an Android developer as someone fresh in the industry is a good, or should I change to some other field?" Okay, hold on, Andrew. Or Jaron. Did I say your name right, Jaron? Are you trying to get that job or are you already working that job? I need to know that first. Let me know. Are you trying to get that job or are you already working it? Let me know and I can probably answer that better. Claybuster again says, "Do a reload. I have 14 viewing and 16 likes." Cool. Up to 27. Oh, it's 2,700 pages. So now they've added even more. Senate voted today to defeat filibuster. So debate will start soon. What do you mean by defeat filibuster? Could you clarify, please, Clay? Reporting for duty. What's up, Tom? Hope that's Reynolds heavy duty. Already working. Okay. I mean, dude, Jaron, it's not, look, getting experience in one sort of like type of development work, it's not bad. All right. A lot of people, I literally had someone in our group ask me last night that same question last night in a webinar. He was like, "Hey, what if I start getting, what if I want to be a job as a blockchain developer and then I get into that industry? Is it going to be harder for me to like leave? Is that a good or a bad thing?" Look, if you're in the software development world, people are going to like acquiesce you for jobs regardless, no matter what, because they need people to work these jobs so bad. So you're going to get constantly bombarded, but most likely it's going to make people that are looking for an Android developer seek after you more so than the other people. All right. My tinfoil headband's falling off, guys. Got a little sweaty in there. It's going to make people seek for you. People seek that want a position to seek for you. But dude, it's not going to make it like, it might make it like, I don't know, 5% harder as opposed to getting a different job as opposed to, or getting like a job as like, I don't know, a .NET developer as opposed to an Android developer. But it's still way easier than not ever having a job in the field before, right? The thing about code is like, if you can code, you can code with anything. It's all about that problem solving and troubleshooting ability that you have. And so if you can convey that accurately to the place that you're interviewing with, then it's not going to be a problem. I would suggest the same thing I suggest to people in the group is that just make sure you have code, you have code in your portfolio and projects in your portfolio that you can display and show that aren't just Android developer apps. I hope that helped. Vareen says, "It's fine, bro. I like the American pronunciation." Yeah, I definitely got it wrong, don't I? Holy shit, Peter Schiff in the house. They voted to defeat Philip Buster. Okay, Philip's a really bad dude, and we should all vote to defeat him. Yes, we must all defeat Philip Buster, guys. We must all defeat Philip Buster. Don't forget, Guns are bad. So, guys, back to my theory 1 and 2. All right. So the first theory was what? That they don't understand this stuff, and they're just basically trying to put a bull in a small room, right? Which would be very bad, obviously, right? It's like, let's put a bull in a small room with children. Would be a very, very bad idea. Plus, on top of that, the fact that people don't understand it. Of course they don't understand it. They're all boomers, right? And they're too concerned with getting their money from the CBs as opposed to actually doing work for the people. Because let's just be honest, guys. You think those politicians care about you? Some of them do. Some of them do. Very few of them do. There used to be a time where being a politician was a something that you did not as your main job, and it was kind of a burden that you took on because you were the most fit person to do it, and people literally just wanted you to do it. It was time where people weren't a politician for a career and didn't make massive amounts of money basically doing nothing. But the second option was what? That they understand it and that they are doing this on purpose, like a bunch of little pansy boys, instead of just banning it like China. You know what I think? I'm going to go out and say, I'm going to go out on a crazy limb here. I'm going to go out on a crazy limb and say that they're doing it on purpose. All right. I don't think most of these people are that dumb to where they can't just spend 10 hours to learn something and understand how something works before they try to put laws into it. And I think that these people know it very well, because I think the people that are actually pushing these laws are the ones who would be negatively impacted by cryptocurrency, by blockchain technology in general, and by Web 3.0, by the metaverse. All right. And well, who is that? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of things, right? A lot of entities. Pretty much everything right now in legacy tech, which is, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, that's all legacy tech now. It's like legacy. Not that legacy is a bad thing, but they're old. This is all legacy stuff, right? The legacy banking system, the government itself as well. A lot of things are at threat when you have technology that allows you to write code, unbiased code, that can replace you. Okay? And so here's my theory. I think that it's very apparent that these people are absolutely terrified of people leaving their system. Because what is this economy that we live in right now? It's a system. Regardless of whether you think it's a good system or a bad system, it's a system. All right? That's a fact. It's a system. Everything in the world is systemic. What else? Legacy tech. System. Government. System. So when you have the ability to take systems, dematerialize them, put them into software for a fraction of the price, let's just say out of a number 10, 1/10 of the price, you can make them non-biased. You can make things easier and more achievable for the average person, which is essentially what technology is, right? That's essentially the progression of mankind, all right? People get afraid for it. People get very afraid. And why are they afraid? Why are they afraid? Would these people be able to do what they're doing and live the same life that they're living if the system was not around? No. You think BlackRock would be out there having access to an infinite amount of loans to just buy up any single family home on the market if it wasn't for this financial system we're in? No, of course not. Of course not. Do you think that people that were politicians could just force everybody to do something, regardless of whether or not it is for or against the Constitution or whatever that our country's original belief set was, whatever the founding boundaries from which they put as a standard on their laws for the people and their rights? No, they couldn't. They couldn't just say, oh my God, we have an emergency. We have to force everybody to do something. They couldn't. They wouldn't have the ability to do that because there would be code making a calculated decision for them. And this is a big deal, guys. People are afraid about what's going on with this stuff, but in all honesty, what do we know about winners and losers? What's a trait of a winner? Being proactive, right? Being prepared, being calculated, being proactive, thinking beforehand, training for what you want, studying for what you want. That's a characteristic of a winner. Now, what is a characteristic of a loser? Being reactive out of fear and emotion. And it looks like that these people weren't proactive enough to stop this before these things came to fruition. And, been out for 11 years now. They had plenty of time, they had plenty of time even after it started to be proactive before it got out of hand, right? But they couldn't, right? Or they didn't. So what do? Out of fear, they became reactive. Same thing happened in the 1990s with the internet, guys. They tried to do all this like crazy nonsense with the internet. They had people suing everybody over everything in the internet in the 1990s, and it didn't really work out, right? What would have happened if we regulated the internet in the 1990s so hard that we basically pushed ourselves out of the internet? Because here's the thing. You can ban the internet. Like, if at the beginning of the stages of the internet, I mean, they could have banned the internet. They could have stopped all the ISP companies from coming up to fruition. They could have stopped all the cable and the fiber being laid in the ground, which are still being laid in the ground all over the place till today. You could have stopped the sale of computers in the United States, or the production of them as well. All these entities that were centralized, they could have easily put a stop to. They could have stopped them. And what would have happened if they did that? What would happen if America didn't have the internet in the 1990s? We would be like a third world country right now, right? We would be worse than Venezuela. Quite literally. All of us would be very dumb. They probably would have really liked that too. The number one thing I think that they fucked up by giving us the internet. Because the internet was the decentralization of information. And not everyone isn't forced to get information from the same place anymore, right? So they would have hurt themselves. They would have hurt all of us and themselves really bad if we didn't have the internet, right? And if they do this to cryptocurrency. Look, America's already no longer the world superpower. It's done. Over. Zero. All right, I don't think there even is a world superpower anymore, except for maybe China, because they actually, their goal is to actually be a superpower, and their goal is to not allow this Ponzi monetary system to stay intact, so they can just stay fat and keep eating fruit, having fruit fed to them. Although that's going on there too, but to a lesser degree. If they decide to do this, very bad for them. Very, very, very fucking bad for them. They're going to be hurting themselves. All right. Why would you push a technology out that's brand new, and is literally growing in rapid acceptance faster than the adoption rate of the literal internet, literally faster than that, at a faster rate. Something that people want, something that solves a whole lot of problems, including the number one problem that we have in this world right now, which is the money problem, right? We all have the money problem. Everybody does. Even if you're rich, you have the money problem. Trust me. You know. They will be literally signing their death certificate. Literally. What currency, my friends, is cryptocurrency priced in majority throughout the world? Is it the Venezuelan bolivar? Is most cryptocurrency priced in gold? Is cryptocurrency priced in the digital yuan? You guys tell me. What's the current world reserve currency? It's the United States dollar, right? If crypto leaves the United States, what does that mean for the money from that cryptocurrency? Is it going to stay here? No, it is not. Right? Where's that money going to go? It's not going to stay here, right? So not only are they rugging you, but they're rugging themselves too. The problem is they can just print as much money as they want. All right? They can print as much money as they want. And what they can do is they can force everything in this side of the world to be bought and sold in the United States dollar. But they really can't really force the rest of the world to do that anymore, especially now that cryptocurrency exists, right? They can't. And so what happens? Look at Venezuela. Look at North Korea. Think about it. Think about it, people. Think about it. And they, quite frankly, really don't care because it's really not going to affect them that much. They can just have whatever they want, all 100 of them or whatever. They can have whatever they want. And you will own nothing, but you'll love it. Don't worry, they'll make sure you love it. Claybuster says, there was an attempt to filibuster. The Senate held a vote 67-32 to end it. The D's want to pass this monster by Friday, and some R's were trying to slow them down. D or R, they're all a bunch of fucking retards. They're all going to zero. And quite frankly, I hope there's I hope one of them out there has just a working brain. Bill Black Mortgage Pro says fear-based. Yep. It is indeed fear-based. Harry Zykos says boomer coins are trait of a winner. This guy fucks right here, Al. This guy definitely fucks. Peter Schiff says winners buy gold. God damn it, Peter Schiff. Where's Dan Pena? Peter Schiff, I'm very honored that you're watching my podcast right now. I'm very honored. I would love to talk to you, man. Sam Perchinski says they want us to move. They want us to move to crypto. You said they want us to move into crypto. They want to be able to shut you off. Yeah. They want us to move into their abomination of a Fed coin, spy coin is what they want us to do. All right? That's what they want. They don't want to be able to have us have the peace and prosperity of keeping our money and our wealth in a system that is permissionless, that is non-biased, that doesn't lie, cheat, or steal, and that they don't have any power, that nobody has power over, right? They don't want that because what would that do to them? That would make everybody run away from their system. All right, that would make everybody run away from the system, and then their system would collapse. Then they couldn't stay on their sofa with their backs held high, getting grapes fed to them behind their head. So Harry Zago says USD, yes. Hey Peter, Cody Moose in the Who says honestly, let them try to lock up Bitcoin. Let them try to lock up Bitcoin. Maybe that's what we need. Mass devolution. They can't. So it brings me to the topic. It brings to my question. What do you guys think of? What do you think a blockchain really is? Just what do these people think a blockchain really is? I don't think they know what a blockchain really is. I think that they think a blockchain is just people on a schoolyard with a bunch of blocks and chains on, doing the merry-go-round or whatever it is in a circle. That's what they think a blockchain really is. They don't know what a blockchain really is, because if they knew, they wouldn't even bother wasting their time. Another like thought point could be like, maybe they're doing this to just, load the Korea FUD, load the China FUD, load the Elon FUD, load it. Because guys, Bitcoin is a black hole. Bitcoin is a virus. Bitcoin is a cockroach. Bitcoin's hope. It's literally hope for all the people in the world that are dirt poor because of this financial system, because they have no way to save, literally no way to save. It's hope for the people that are young and have been screwed over from the previous financial system, where their elder generation was able to benefit, or at least they were fooled into thinking they were able to benefit, but they most certainly aren't going to when they try to retire. It's hope for those people. It's hope for a non-biased, non-incentivized system that has the ability to literally bring peace in the world. As cheesy as that is, literally bring peace in the world. You know why? Because there's really nothing about Bitcoin that is inherently good or bad. Let's talk about cash, paper cash, right? Dollar bills, y'all. Something physical like this that I can touch and feel, all right? Let's not talk about, the financial system that's backing the cash, all right? Let's just talk about the actual paper itself, all right? Cash is pretty much permissionless, right? I don't need to have the software from my bank or like Venmo or Cash App or PayPal tell me, hey, you can't submit this payment to somebody because their third cousin's uncle's sister licked the dude's elbow who stormed the Capitol last was that January, December, right? Cash, I could just give it to whoever I want, right? You can give it to drug dealers. You can give it to a charity, a non-for-profit organization. So cash can be used for very good things, and it can also be used for very bad things. Cash doesn't care. The cash itself doesn't care. The cash is permissionless. Bitcoin doesn't care either. Bitcoin doesn't care about your agenda, doesn't care about your opponent's agenda. Bitcoin can be used for very good things, like giving money to a charity, and Bitcoin can be used for bad things, like giving money to a drug dealer. It's permissionless. That is the beauty of this. It doesn't try to force people into doing something a certain way. It allows human nature to act as humans do. But because of human nature, Bitcoin incentivizes people to do the right thing. Now, if you're an inherently bad person, you're still going to do the wrong thing anyway, right? But you're going to be decentivized into doing it because that's how the blockchain works. It is what it is. It is neither a net positive or a net negative. It is neutral. So now, for the first time in human history, we have technology that can literally allow our monetary system to just be as it is, non-biased, permissionless, borderless, uninflatable, unpenetratable, whatever else kind of adjective you want to put on it, because that's just what it is. This is not a joke. As much as I try to make this a funny joke, this is not a joke. This is an actuality, guys. It's a real thing. It is indeed a real thing. Harry Psycho says, hey, Peter, honestly, let them try to log. Oh, I already read that one. I read that one, didn't I? Sam says, yes, they can't fully control decentralized currencies, but they want to shut off the on and off ramps. Yeah. That's about the only thing they can do, right? They can only shut off the on and on ramps. But what happens in a world where you have a financial system that is so bad that people refuse to partake in it? Because if they have the currency for a payment, it immediately becomes devalued. It can be deleted. It can be stolen. It can be frozen. It can be taken from you, i.e. taxed at an exorbitantly high rate. regardless whether or not you paid the proper amount that was written down on paper that you were supposed to pay. They want to take more, they can. And what happens in that world when this financial system exists, and sporadically throughout time, people migrate to something that treats them better. And that thing is literally the software equivalent of the legacy version of it, except its flaws are all fixed and it has no drawbacks. And the only drawback is the bridge that connects you back and forth. What happens when people just jump the bridge, cut the bridge off, and say, fuck it, I'm over here. I don't need to go back and cross the bridge over. We are now the American colonies. We don't need to go back to Great Britain. We don't need them. In fact, we don't want you here. Go away. Get that nasty, dirty fiat away from me. What happens when that happens? Then there's nothing they can do. There's no need for an on and off ramp, right? And the funny thing is, if they do that, then their system, if this happens, all right, which you guys can believe whatever you want. My personal belief is that this is an inevitability in the next decade, and a literal inevitability, unless something else comes out in beforehand that solves this problem. What you guys are seeing right now and all this craziness throughout the world, it's going to get worse and worse and worse because it's a direct result of what's going on upstairs. All of this is a rug pull for what's going on upstairs. If you don't know what I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you guys know what I mean about it being a rug pull. It's all a rug pull. It's all fugazi. It's all fake by these garçons upstairs. All right. And if they do that, if they decide to attempt to push that system away, all they're doing is cutting their umbilical cord prematurely, and they will die. They will die because it's going to get to a point to where they are plugged into the new system, and the only way to keep their system half alive, and the only means that it can be alive in, is to be plugged into the new one. So that's fine. Let them do that. Let them do that. That's fine. I'd prefer them to do that, actually. We'll literally prefer them to do that because quite honestly, I don't want to do any business with those people. I don't want those people in my little echo chamber. So yeah, those on and off ramps, that's all they have. That's all they have, and they're so blindsided and they're so selfish and greedy that they can't even see it. They can't even see the writing on the wall. It's like you see two people in a fight, two dudes in a fight, and one of them is like crippled and maimed and is missing an arm and is also jacked up on heroin, and the other dude is like Conor McGregor. Even Conor McGregor on cocaine would probably still just destroy the other person. And it's like they're not only are they up fighting against Conor McGregor, but at the same time they're provoking him, like, come here, you bastard, and they're like hitting him, beating him up, and Conor's like, dude, listen, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Please leave me alone. Over and over again until Conor's like, blap. That's all that is. So sucks for them. Matt W says, nice tie, Mr. Chippendale. Thank you. This is a 1 million fireflies. Did not believe my eyes. See that? Look at the texture on this tie. Look at the texture. Let me get that to focus. There you go. Look at that, guys. Could not believe my eyes. 1 million fireflies. It's a Southern proper ties, guys. Southern proper tie with a doggy on it, with a doge on it. Go get you some. Matt W, what up, Sud? Solo says, boom, baby indeed. Pablo says, forgive me, but hold on. Let me read that correctly. Forgive me, but I am just here to shake hands with your 4th grade janitor. Did I say that good enough, Pablo? T-Man Scott says, hey, Josh, since Miami is a crypto-friendly city, yes, indeed it is. Literally, even like the dumbest of dumb bimbos here, like know about crypto. They know, like, they even know how to use it too. Are there any other USA cities that could at least be last holdouts for crypto? So Scott, the thing is, the federal government, which is, just essentially, theoretically speaking here, in a video game, guys, federal government First of all, want to clarify everything I'm about to say right now is 100% talking about a video game and not talking about real life. I love the federal government. I think they're so great, and I wish I could wash all the politicians' feet. In fact, if the politicians, any of them want to have their feet washed, please contact me at josh@eatlifprogram.com. Send me an email, and I will wash your feet on live camera. So all this is in a video game, but the federal government, Scott, in this video game doesn't like crypto. And obviously because that federal government is completely run, all of their decisions come from the CBs. The CBs, specifically the private Western CB, all right? Now, the state governments and the local governments, they have a CB per state, but all their funding isn't dependent off of that CB. It could come from any other states around the world, all right? So, majority of these states, like the legislators and the people in these states are like literally saying great things about crypto, and they're literally putting it on their balance sheet. Louisiana government, literally like the probably the dumbest, most corrupt bunch of politicians in the world. Even they made some kind of like paper in May. They published some article about like an ode to Satoshi Nakamoto and how great they think it is, and that they're going to accept Bitcoin for tax payments. Of course, they're going to accept Bitcoin for taxes. They would love to take your Bitcoin, wouldn't they? And then they're also that they want to hold it on their balance sheet. A lot of these states are doing that, Scott. Texas, they're allowing miners to come in. Miami, the city itself, is very crypto friendly, and I think the majority of that is because people that come to the city is because they're crypto literate people, and they just want to go a place where they're left alone and just treated better. But most of the states don't really have a problem with it, dude. Most of them really don't. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, apparently. There's a couple other ones in the SEC as well. Sam says the banks can't get people to take out loans right now. They're fucked. Yeah. And why do you think that is? Like people, like who wants to be putting money into paying back a loan right now, unless you're like completely incentivized to do it. And actually they're trying really hard to incentivize people to do it, right? But it's not working, because what does everyone do with their money? They're putting their money elsewhere. They're literally fleeing. People are, and a lot of people are doing this without even realizing it. Like people are taking their money and they're putting it in dog money. You guys thought you guys knew what a 401k is. Think about a 401k9. There's people out there literally just like buying Doge because they don't know anything about crypto, and they're just like, fuck. I mean, this money is just sitting here rotting in my account. I hear all these stories, people becoming like literally financially free in like 20 minutes from like buying this coin right here. So I'm just going to go buy this coin, or they're doing it in meme stocks, GME. People are like putting all their money elsewhere, and banks don't like you, right? The banks don't like you that, right? Because what is our whole entire system based off of? It's a debt-based system. Everybody needs to get a mortgage to buy a house. In fact, even if you can pay for the house in cash, you are essentially punished for buying it in cash, which is why nobody fucking does that. And you're rewarded taking out a loan. Same thing with a car. You're punished for buying it in cash, and you're rewarded for getting a loan for it, right? Things are so expensive that a majority of people have to fund their entire life and their family's lives on a credit card. And most like the average like household credit card debt is like 40, 50K in the United States, which is fucking absurd. Like that's fucking crazy. That's literally insane. But the boomers were all told that it's going to be okay, and that don't worry, it's going to be okay. So they just did it anyway. People are starting to like be like, hold on just 1 second. So you mean to tell me that I can't save any money and I can't like actually just be free for at least like a couple months of my life? And then I'm going to have to go into that office place and be a little wagey wojak with the thing over my mouth until the day that I die, because I'll never be able to pay this debt off. And people are like, holy shit, we got what Christian Soda said right here, rugged. Yeah, rugged. Getting rugged. All of us, they're trying to rug us. But people are waking up. Why is that? Because we have the internet. We have access to the internet now, which obviously they're trying to censor, right? They're taking everything off the internet that they possibly can that's even remotely against the narrative, right? They don't know what a blockchain really is. They don't understand it. They think that they understand it. They understand it enough to try to get rid of it, without having to tell people that they're getting rid of it. But they can't see further than the car in front of them. They can't. They can't see the future. They can't see the metaverse. They can't see past this thin veil of just their fake fortress. And that's what happens when you get fat and lazy and happy. You become complacent. It's too hard to go out there and to learn new things and to try new things. It's too hard to not get free money printed at your disposal from whenever you choose. It's too hard to be the 100 richest people on the planet who nobody even knows what they do for a living. It's hard to go from that to having to be a wagey Wojak, like the people that you basically forced to do, all the people that you hate, forced into, right? So on to Pablo's question. Done with the rant. Hope that wasn't too negative for you tonight, guys, because like when I think about this stuff, like it really does aggravate me, man. It really does. Because if you actually take this time to study this and to first of all study the legacy financial system, and then you take the same amount of time to put 10 hours into studying Bitcoin and learning about cryptocurrency and then DeFi and the new financial system, come to find out that the old financial system is basically purposely, there's no other way that this thing is anything but what I'm about to say. Purposely set up for failure. Purposely set up for you to continue to sit in a hamster wheel and run over and over and over again. And maybe, some people have a nice hamster wheel and it's nice and blinged out. And it's like, it's a luxury hamster wheel. Some people have just okay hamster wheels. Some people have really crappy hamster wheels. But irregardless, despite all your rage, you are still just a rat, literally in a cage. Shout out to the who is that? That's the Smashing Pumpkins. That's who is that, guys? Smashing Pumpkins, right? Despite all your rage, you're still just a rat in a hamster wheel, right? You're still just a hamster in a wheel. And that it's gone through this process of just like taking this problem, kicking the can down the road to the next generation and the next one and the next one. And they don't care because their kids are never going to have to deal with it because their kids are going to have the same benefit that they had. And they have these rules for people that all the hamsters have to follow, but they don't have to follow these rules. So let's just say you're an extremely smart and talented, driven hamster. If you play by their rules, you're always going to be in the hamster cage. The only way for you to get out of the hamster cage is to literally break the rules, just like they do. And that's what you come to find out. And it's really sad, guys. It really is sad because, like, honestly, I'm a millennial. I'm 29, guys. All right. I hate my generation. I hate most people in my age group. I hate people in the age group above me. I slightly less hate boomers because boomers are slightly more tolerable. But boomers are only more tolerable because of their ignorance, right? They're only more tolerable because it's really not their fault. They're just too old and too ignorant to know any of this stuff, all right? But the Gen Xers, they're just lights on, no one's home. And then the Zoomers are actually my favorite generation. But again, I'm a millennial, right? See, the thing about the Zoomers, they already like know this kind of stuff without you even having to explain it to them, which is crazy. You can put a computer in front of them and they know how to work it when they come out the womb. But the thing about this generation is that, guys, the millennial generation is absolutely butt-fucked financially. Absolutely butt-fucked. Very few people in the millennial generation make quality money at all. And by the way, guys, 100K is it's considered quality, but that's if you get 100K, you'll realize like more money, more problems. It's not 100K is not as much money as you think it is. Although, it's probably better. I mean, it's a better life than 30K, that's for sure. But a majority of them are not even anywhere near that 100K mark, right? And even if they are, they're still inside that same hamster wheel. At the same time, the money is getting devalued more and more every day. It's getting harder for them to be able to get approved for buying a home. And what is the number one traditional means of carrying on your wealth and building your wealth and leaving something to the next generation? It's buying a house, right? That's the boomers' thing is like the boomers say like the number one investment you can do is a house, right? No longer the case. Unless you buy the bottom and sell the top, because now the housing market is just as fucking volatile. Or kind of if you zoom out from like 2008 until now, the housing market's been just as volatile as crypto, or as violently volatile in small sporadic periods as crypto is normally. We'll say it like that. All right. But most people can't buy a home. They can hardly even afford rent. They can hardly even afford, if you do the math, it ends up to being the average person can hardly, and I mean hardly, afford $300 a month to save. All right. And that math, in my opinion, is extremely generous. I'd say that it's probably half that, like $150 a month. Think about that. And if you can't even save like $300, I mean, $300 a month for like how many years, like, 10 years, add in the devaluation of the currency because of inflation. I mean, noshot.com, no shot of financial freedom, let alone to drive a Lamborghini or something, do something nice with money, with their hard work and their saved and stored energy that any person would want to do, right? And it's sad. Sorry, I'm getting too far off topic, but it's sad because cryptocurrency is literally the one thing our generation's got. The one thing. 90-something% of millennials who are millionaires in crypto. They're not millionaires from being real estate provocateurs. They're not millionaires from winning a lottery. They're not millionaires from going to college, being a good boy, and getting a degree. Right? They're millionaires in crypto, and it's sad because it's sad because the generations this is the last thing that we got. Right? In reality, it's not the last thing that we have. If you're hardworking and you're dedicated and you can have multiple streams of income, you can make something happen. All right. And maybe if you're smart and tactical and you buy things at the right time, you sell them at the right time, and all this is just like this is not what the average person does, guys. They can't, because they don't have the time or the energy to do so. But basically, it's all we got. And quite frankly, it's easier to make an extra $300 a month than to save $300 a month for the average person now. And it's sad. All right. It's sad because as much as I hate people and normies, as much as I want to be left alone, I'm not a malicious person, and I don't really want all of them to suffer and die. In fact, I prefer that all of us lived in peace and prosperity so that we could have a better world. Because when you solve the money problem, you solve all problems. And what we have right now is we have a money problem, right? We have a money problem before everything else. And it's disgusting. All right. So where does that bring us on the Blade Runner 2049 topic? Imagine a world where everything is so desolate, everything is so broken that they just decide, screw it. We're going to just reset everything, all of it, reset. Maybe they have a name for it. Maybe they call it the Great Reset button. And they press a button, and people just don't accept this new reset. They don't accept it because they've already been sold the lie 10 times over. And at this point, everything that they had before is gone. They come to realize their entire life was a lie, including their father's life, their grandfather's life, their great-grandfather's life, their mothers, brothers and sisters, friends, family, and cousins. They realize all of it's a lie. It was all for nothing. And they would rather just live on the street with nothing, alone, than to partake in this even worse version of the previous system. two kinds of people: people that were prepared, people that were proactive, and the people that weren't prepared, and the people that are reactive. The latter, the people that are reactive and weren't prepared, they don't want to partake in this new one because, they finally, the wool has been taken over their face. They finally realized that it was all a lie, but they have nothing. They have nothing and they have nothing to do. There's no such thing as a job anymore. Everyone's kind of more concerned about taking care of themselves, all right? Not dying, not getting eaten by the people that are hungry and trying to eat you. And they don't have anywhere to go because there's just like this dark, dank, desolate, just underbelly of blech. All right. Street urchins. We can just call them street urchins. And then imagine the other type of people that were prepared and proactive, and they're the only people on the entire planet that have any semblance of freedom and power other than these little entities that created the rules in the first place. So it just becomes this giant war of these entities trying to attack and chase these people that are the only other people in the world that have freedom, power, mobility, money, because they don't want anyone else to exist like that except for them. So the people at the bottom are living a very bad life because they're just worried about staying alive. They don't really have anything. The people that were prepared, they probably live an interesting life. I wouldn't say that it's all good or bad. They probably spend most of their time on the run. Maybe they're traveling from state to state, and who knows what a state is even more at this point. And their only little shelter is, I don't know, maybe a citadel. Maybe all these people that felt the same way kind of had a pact together. Maybe there's citadels all across the world. These citadels maybe, facilitate their system, the system that they believe is the positive system, the system that they believe is for the people. And, the more prepared people were, the higher up you are in the citadel. And the citadel has all the gold. It's got all the orange inside the citadel. And the other parties, the people that were the ones who created the first system and then try to make the resetted system, no one really wants to do business with them because what they have is just fake and they don't have anything to offer anybody. So they want some orange too. So they're after the orange. They want to kill you, and they're after the orange. The people on the streets are after the orange. Maybe there's some other citadels that want to take over your orange so that they can have all the orange. And yeah, would be a crazy world. Pablo, I don't know if you were listening. I hope you enjoyed that story. That's the most I can think. That's the most intricate way I can think of talking about Citadels X Blade Runner 2049 without like going like super tinfoil hat. But yeah, I mean, infinite amount of possibilities. But guys, I don't want to end this on a negative note because in all honesty, guys, like nothing is set in stone yet. The chess pieces haven't been moved yet. All right. The chess game's not over. There's still pawns on the board. So this has the potential to go the opposite way. This old system, they can acquiesce. They can be sucked up into the new one, and they can partake in it too. People want to partake in business with them. They can choose to because all of us are free, right? Even them, even if they don't deserve it, even them. Sam says people are putting their money into every asset classes. Yep, indeed. Which is, what does that happen? When that starts to happen, more and more money leave, right? More and more money is leaving. And it kind of accelerates everything even more. More and more money leave, right? More and more people want these things. More and more people have them. Less of them are available. The prices go up, number go up. All right. At the same time, the value of the currency goes down. Just total absolute pandemonium, right? I should have got, God, when the soundboard comes in, guys, I can't wait to get the Clown World theme song. But every time, you think about that, just Clown World. That's all it is. Wade Emery says, I appreciate good rant. Thank you, Wade. Peter Schiff says, Billy Crogan. Peter Schiff says, I know because I'm a boomer. Guys, Peter Schiff is in the house. Cody Moose in the house. Zoomers are pretty base, to be honest. LOL. Yeah, dude, Zoomers are base as fuck. Maybe all the Zoomers we have in developer direction, those are some of the most base kids ever. Like, I've never seen people learn code so easily. They're like, bleh, they just absorb it. It's insane. And obviously, it's probably because, they've been like technologically literate their whole lives. Like they didn't have like, I don't know. I got my first computer when I was like 10, 8. I was really young for someone to have a computer. And nowadays, they pop them out. They pop these kids out. One literally like 1 month later, they got the iPod like stuck into their hand, right? Immediately. And the parents just like, shut up, just leave me alone, just take this iPod. So, I mean, technology is nurturing to them. It literally is. It's just part of nature. VZ Jinx says, I'm Gen Z. How you think I feel? I'm living in real life 1984 double speak generations. Yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. Yup. Peter Schiff says, if they bought $1 million of gold a decade ago, they would be millionaires today. Shaking my head. Well, Peter, not all of us can afford that ever so expensive gold that you have. But thank you for endorsing it, Peter. Cody Moose and who says crypto will find a way. Can't stop the signal. Again, just what do you think a blockchain really is? Uncensorable, unstoppable. Cannot lie, cannot steal, cannot cheat, cannot destroy it, cannot manipulate it. And every time they do anything to try to damage it, well, number go up, baby. Sorry, not sorry. Cody Moose again also says, dude, you need to clip these rants and put them out as videos. LOL. Straight fire. Do you think so, Cody? I will do that. If the audience wants it, I will do that. Christian Soda says, Cody Moose, big facts. Okay, you guys want me to do that? All right, that's fine. We'll do it. Peter Schiff says, did somebody say all the gold? Peter, listen, I know you have a hard on over there for your gold, but it's okay, all right? Peter Schiff, I'm going to send me, go, Peter, do me a favor, all right? And we can do this on national TV, Peter. I would love, or we can, you come on my podcast, Peter. I'll come on your podcast because I know you got a podcast. Peter, you're a smart man, Peter. You really are. Everyone, we all shit on Peter Schiff all the time because, he's the biggest bear around. But guys, Peter's smart because Peter sees the exact same things that we see. Except he's a boomer, and when he was our age, all he had was gold. This guy didn't exist yet when Peter was our age. So, of course, when it comes out and Peter's too old to understand the concept of just because you can't touch it doesn't mean it's not real, and he can touch his shiny yellow rock, Peter clung to the safety of his gold. But Peter's correct about his reasoning for why buy gold. Peter is just incorrect about Bitcoin. So Peter, I'd like to help you out. DM me afterwards, Peter. In fact, I'll come, just we can meet up. Your people can meet my people. I'm going to give you some Bitcoin, Peter. I really do. I would love to give you some Bitcoin. So Peter, hit me up. I'll give you some Bitcoin, and we're going to fix you up. All right. We can rebuild you. We can make you stronger. We have the technology. Okay. John M in the house. Howdy, folks. Hello, John M. Good to see you, man. Put the rants out as shorts. Shorts are being pushed right now. Views, eyeball. Yeah. I mean, we could do that. Why not? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my rants can be like too negative, and I don't want people to be like, this dude's a mean man. He doesn't like the CBs. He doesn't like the private Western CB. He thinks that the POLITICINS don't have what's in our best interest. He thinks they could potentially not be being truthful about what they say. He's bad. Orange, bad. Orange, bad. But guys, seriously, because I want to end this good. They can't do it. They're not going to do it. And if they do, rest assured that they are just hurting themselves. And you'll be A-okay. All right? Night, guys. I love y'all. Smash like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Pump it again. And again.
What the bloody hell is going on? The shakeout wasn't finished yet. Why haven't we crashed it?
Keep up, Jacob. This is all within expected ranges.
No. Recommence the dumps. Continue the black swans. Accelerate it. Bounce the dead cat. Pull the rugs. Build back even better. Activate the cyber pandemic. I'm in charge here. But the shadows.
It is not yours to take, Bog. The truth will set us free. It must.